Hey there, it's time for another manga review with me, Boavo Benny, and today I'm going to be reviewing the manga Planet Ladder by Yuri Nurishima. I think I got that one right. It's a manga that I haven't read in a while, but it still lingers distinctively in my brain because it's really different. And also I don't have my manga books with me, so I kind of can't look through them. But I will do the best I can, so we'll see how this review goes. Okay? I am by your side. Even if you destroy the world, I'll be by your side. Even if you never forgive yourself, even if my body is destroyed, my heart will forgive you for eternity. And so after that very dramatic opening, we are greeted with what appears to be a flashback, and also our adorable heroine Kaguya. Because if she's not adorable, she simply cannot be a manga heroine. It's Rule 34 in the manga handbook. Look it up. And we find our adorable heroine making a phone call. A very dramatic phone call. And she is joined by her two friends who are very generic and have no names, I don't think, and are not important to the story, so moving on. Kaguya then gives us some very informative inner monologue, which allows us to realize that she has black hair, surprise, blue eyes, okay, which means that she's different than everyone else, I guess. I also learned that she's an orphan who was found on the side of the road when she was 4, just wearing like a little rag thing, and she was covered in dirt, and she doesn't know anything about her past or anything, and she lives with some crazy people. So anyways, as soon as we dry our eyes of our tears, we realize that Kaguya is being followed by that guy and that other guy, I guess. And so, the oblivious Kaguya, Rule 36, gets home without a problem, seeing her mother, anyways, Kaguya's mother is obsessed with tarot cards and has always asked her daughter to read them, because of a very strange phenomenon that occurs every single time Kaguya does. Whenever she reaches her last card, which would be a sign of her future, it is always blank, as if there is no way of telling what her future is, not even in the tarot cards. This is where things get sort of jumbled up and confusing. Basically, they find out that Kaguya's father, a banker, has been arrested for stealing money, and this means that they are now getting constant phone calls from newspapers and TV stations, I guess, and that's about it on that. It serves no other point, except that she didn't have to draw the father. Also, her brother is a jerkface, who is not really a jerkface, but merely acting like a jerkface because he didn't know how else to handle himself, I guess. One of those classic things. However, he's not in it enough really for this to matter, so never mind. Things are kind of starting to drag a little bit, aren't they? Well, don't worry. They're about to pick up. Kind of, I guess. In a confusing way. Blah, blah, blah. Dramatic phone call between her and a stranger. Okay, more flashbacks. Sob, sob. This guy's important later. Gross. Sob, sob, more sadness, emo music playing. Oh, thank God, the plot. Hey man, I saw you at the beginning and I was wondering about you, because I was sort of interested in understanding. Please don't run away. Oh, please come back. Oh, come on, quit jumping around. Okay, alright, okay, so there's you, and there's that other guy, and y'all obviously know each other, right? And, okay, so now you're fighting for a reason. Okay, alright, and he's angry, and you're angry, and okay, what was that? Alright, that's crazy, that's fun. Are you gonna explain it? No? Okay, he's just gonna attack, and alright, oh no, okay, this looks really important, okay, who's this? I give up. Seriously, who is this guy? I don't even know. Why is this dramatic? Why is this important? So, to make a long story short, Kaguya is destined to choose only one world out of 7, including her own, to be saved from ultimate destruction. Her house gets sliced in half by Prince Siyu, also known as the Mad Prince, and she is then captured by his manservant, robot, important plot device, someone she knows in her past, something or another, and gets transported into another world with him, and is thus forced to travel the world with him and have hilarious adventures in this new wide world. Ho ho ho, isn't that whimsical? Analyzing. Overall, Planet Ladder is a pretty nice looking manga art-wise, with interesting character designs and cool costumes and weapons and things like that. But sometimes it can look a little lumpy, like their faces are full of potatoes or something like that. I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Backgrounds go between being extremely detailed and just sort of vaguely there. But that's not all bad. I mean, that's usually how most mangas are anyway, right? The fighting scenes are pretty good, considering it's not a shonen manga, which is based purely on fighting and friendship and all that jazz. In fact, I'm not really quite sure what to classify this manga as, because I guess it's just sci-fi, fantasy, romance, saving the world and stuff, because they have a section for that. Despite some weird times in the art style, it's really not bad to look at, and it's pretty nice, overall. Where it sort of falls short, at least to me, is not even necessarily the plot, but the execution of the plot. This manga has a lot going for it in terms of story and characters. I mean, there's something really interesting about a young girl being chosen to be the one to decide the fate of a world, and not just one world, but 7. And all the characters seem to be really interesting and have their own defined personalities and histories. And, I mean, you really get excited about learning about all of them. But, see, that's the problem. You don't learn about all of them. In fact, you barely even learn about the main ones, sadly. One of the main reasons that I think this happens is because there are a lot of moments of false plot points that this manga gives us. Such as this little gem, they build the moment up to quite the crescendo, and it really does seem very dramatic. But really, it's not mentioned again, ever, except once, and that's a little bit later on, and it's really not that big a deal. Not to mention, by the end of the series, you have characters hanging out the wazoo. You can't even keep any of them straight. I got a few of them confused, actually. Oh, and did I mention that there's a giant talking rooster? Because there is. Top that, Sailor Moon. A very few number of them have any actual depth. I mean, maybe and Siru and Kagam plot device, and even he doesn't really seem to have that much. As I said before, the plot is a good one. It just gets so bogged down by all these needless moments that lead us on to believe that they're going to be really important and mean something, and then they don't go anywhere. And this includes characters too. Like this girl. I don't know her name. I don't know what she does. She just serves no point in this plot. All she does is hang around the bearded guy whose name escapes me for the moment because there's a couple other guys who look almost exactly like him. I mean, she only just seems to pop up at times being like, hey, remember me? I'm still useless and serve no point. Okay, bye. Basically what it feels like is that you're jumping into a story that's halfway through. And you come in and you're like, alright guys, hey guys, you gonna fill me in on what's going on? And everyone ignores you and just continues on with whatever they're doing. You're like the Yuffie of the group, basically. The manga treats you like the Yuffie of the group. So for double emphasis, here is a visual representation of what it's like to read Planet Ladder. You're walking along, la la la, understand this, everything's just going just fine. Then, oh dear God, I'm almost about to be run over by a horse and a carriage, oh dear God. Oh hey, look, it's a new person, I wonder if this person's important to me. Oh hey, I may or may not be important to the plot later, may or may not be developed, okay, bye. Sorry for almost running you over. Not. Though Planet Ladder is not a bad manga per se, it's definitely not a great one, at least not to me. It is fun, it's got a pretty cool plot, I mean it's got fairly good art, and the characters are really interesting, though it feels rushed, and it really kind of skims over a lot of the character and stories that could have been developed, and instead goes for weird things to put up at the front and then just sort of leave there. Planet Ladder is no longer in print. And I've searched online, and the only manga scans I'm able to find are the Japanese one, in case you didn't notice. And so unless you're able to read Japanese or have a friend who actually owns it, I really don't know how you're going to be able to get a hold of this one. I was able to just sort of muddle my way through it and be like, well, the characters are endearing, and I kind of like the relationships and stuff like that. And there's a giant talking rooster. And that's an extra 10 points in my book.